personal finance and your 20s. These two things don't normally seem to go well together. I know from a lot of my peers and a lot of my old classmates at college that a lot of them didn't really pay a lot of attention to personal finances. And that is what 90% of them being finance majors, as was I. However, since I just recently turned 23, well, I turned 23 back in June, but you get the idea. Since I just recently turned 23, I'm getting to the point where I still feel like a teenager, but I'm now expected to take on more of the responsibilities of an adult. And honestly, that can be a little bit scary at times because I did it and I still don't have a very good guide of what to do and what not to do. As many of the people I know, my parents have made financial mistakes and my grandparents, and while we try our best to avoid most of them, sometimes we just fall and make mistakes at times as well. So as I was looking back at the past 3 to 5 or 6 years of my personal finances, I picked out the 6 best purchases that I made in my 20s and I want to share with you guys. So as the title of this video states, this video is going to be of the 6 best purchases you can make in your 20s, why you should make them in certain circumstances and why you shouldn't make them in others, and also how it will set you up for the next big milestone in your life, which is your 30s. So if you haven't met already, my name is Anfernee McLemore. I like to make videos about personal finance, financial literacy, pretty much all things money and how to make it here on this channel. And if you haven't hit that like button already, then tap that like button for your boy, as it really does help the channel out. And if you want to get started making a little bit of money for yourself already for completely free, then use the link in the description below, where if you sign up to public and just sign up and create an account, you will get a fractional share of about 9 different stocks of your choosing. I want to do a whole video about the free stocks that I've gotten from public myself, because from you guys using the link, not only do you get a free fractional share of a stock, but you also give me a free fractional share, and that is a great way to support the channel if you choose to, and I absolutely appreciate everyone who uses my link. But let's dive into these 6 purchases. And this list is not going to be in any particular order. Number 1 is not going to be better than number 6, as number 5 is not going to be better than number 2, and so on like that. But the first purchase that I want to talk about that everyone should make in their 20s is self-improvement. What I mean by self-improvement is by finding things that actually interest you and that you're actually talented at, and expand on that further by taking online courses, by reading books, and by learning as much as you can. I'm also talking about self-improvement in the form of learning more about personal finance and also learning more about financial literacy. So let's get back to those skills. In the 21st century, or in any year past 2016, there has been a surplus of online courses that you can take to learn about pretty much anything that you can think of. Whether you want to grow a business by starting a YouTube channel, growing on TikTok, or even a drop shipping course if that's what you want to do, someone with a big audience and a good reputation has that information available for you to pay for, and you can get that specialized knowledge directly from that person. Now, a few years ago, I wasn't a big fan of online courses, but from the 2 that I've taken, which was Graham Stephan's YouTube Creator Academy and also a course by the day trader Ricky Gutierrez, both of those courses have paid for themselves time and time again. Graham Stephan's YouTube Creator Academy has obviously paid for itself in the form of ad revenue and sponsorships and overall exposure, and Ricky Gutierrez's Learn, Pray, and Profit Academy paid for itself in the form of me learning that I should be a more long-term investor and not day trade quite as much. But the key here is learn as much as you can while you're in college, take an online course here or there, because you can expand yourself to so many new horizons than you would not be able to if you just stayed focused on your general knowledge in college. And because you're in your 20s while you're watching this, or you're going to be in your 20s soon, you have that time horizon to expand in different careers and learn what you're really passionate about. Maybe you don't really want to be an accountant. Maybe you don't really want to go be a doctor if you find something else that you're interested in. Explore as many options as you can while you're young, so you don't lock yourself into something that you're not truly passionate about. However, this leads me to the second best purchase I want to talk about in this video, and that is about purchasing a home. Now, for the people who've been watching this channel for a while, you may know that I go back and forth on whether I should purchase a home or not. Now, I'm not big in talking about what others should do in this scenario, because everyone has their own different ideas on whether they want to get a mortgage or whether they just want to rent until they know where they're going to be at. But I believe that if you're in the area that you're going to live at for 5 or more years, then you should seriously consider purchasing a home instead of renting. And the reason for that is that over the long term, purchasing a home and getting a mortgage is actually cheaper than actually renting for 5 or more years. Now, I'm not just saying this. There is a good bit of math to back this up, and to show you guys that math, I'm actually going to take you guys into my computer now so you can see exactly what I mean when I say that purchasing a home is actually cheaper over the long run. So as I take you guys into my computer, if we put in a monthly rent of about $1,490 and a target home price of $250,000, which in the city of Birmingham in the state of Alabama is not far off for where you can get a good deal at. Obviously, if you're in New York or in the far western part of the United States, these numbers will be extremely different, as you won't be able to get anything good under $500,000. But in the state of Alabama, you can get something pretty good for $250,000. We can see that if you stay in a house for more than 3 years, that buying is actually going to be better than renting, as you will be saving money any year past that 3-year mark. Now, what this is saying that if you plan to stay somewhere for just 1 year or even 2 years, then renting may be a better option. But after 3 years, you should seriously consider purchasing a home, because the cost difference is absolutely insane. And that's because when you purchase a home, yes, you have to put a lot of money up front in the form of closing costs and down payment, but after that, you will only have to pay the mortgage, interest, and principal, plus any taxes and insurance on that property. And the difference here and when you're renting a property is that you still will be paying that mortgage, interest, principal, taxes, and insurance if your landlord has a mortgage on your property, plus any vacancies they build into your rent, plus any repairs and capital expenditures, and also plus any profit they want to build into their rent. So you're going to be paying your landlord a much higher premium than you would be if you actually apply for a mortgage and buy a house. And for me and my family, we're actually really close to closing on a house in Alabama. It's a little bit of a smaller house, but it's a great starter home for my family. So I'm going to be moving out of my recording studio and moving into a much different style studio, but hopefully I can still make my video quality somewhat decent so you guys watch them to the end. However, let's go ahead and move forward to the third best purchase you can make in your 20s. But the third best purchase you can actually make in your 20s is actually getting a reliable car. Now, when you're talking about car purchases, you can really get onto two sides of the seesaw. You could be one that wants an extreme quality car, an extreme luxury car on this end, or you can also be one that wants an extremely affordable car that's not as good quality. Now, I'm going to be the first person to tell you that I don't think buying a piece of junk car will do you any good, because if you buy a $1,000 car that needs repairs every single month, that car over the course of its life will probably be more expensive than a medium quality car you can get for an average price. However, getting a reliable car in your 20s that's not too expensive will be crucial, because as you're starting your careers and as you're starting to make money, you probably won't be making as much as you will be in your 30s and 40s. So just getting something that can get you from point A to point B that you're actually proud of will be the best bet, because you won't be burdening yourself with an extremely high car payment. Now, purchase price for this can be extremely subjective to some people. Some people go out of college and go right into investment banking and start making $80,000 to $100,000 a year, while other people go into an internship role where they're making less than $30,000 a year. So depending on how much money you reasonably expect to be making, this will determine how much money you think you should spend on a car. I would say that as a person in your 20s, you should try to stay below $10,000 to an extent, but also don't cheap out and get the cheapest car on the lot, because as I said, it will start to cost you more money in the long run with repairs, with maintenance, as stuff starts to break down on an older vehicle. However, let's quickly move on to the fourth best purchase you can make in your 20s, and this one will actually probably make you more money than you would actually spending money on it. And that purchase is actually going to be a laptop, whether it's for school or for a business, because having a piece of equipment other than your phone where you can access the internet can open up your income streams exponentially if you decide to pursue it. Now, if you get a laptop to start a business, you can do things like setting up a Fiverr store, start drop shipping, sell things on eBay, and obviously start uploading YouTube videos. And if you're in school, you can use your laptop to turn in papers, do different assignments, and just have an overall more convenient life than if you had to go to the library to complete every assignment. Now, for my online business, as I like to call it, which is me uploading YouTube videos, I recently bought a new M1 MacBook Pro that I'm liking a lot. And while this piece of equipment may have initially cost me $2,000, over the course of me uploading YouTube videos and over the course of me depreciating it as a business asset, this laptop will eventually pay for itself, because it will allow me to be overall more efficient in my day-to-day activities. However, let's move on to the fifth best purchase, and that purchase is debt payments. Now, if you're anything like me, you may have got into a little bit of credit card debt in your 20s simply by splurging on things in college or just seeing things at the mall that you like every now and then. And at the end of the month, you may have found yourself with a very high credit card bill that you have no way of paying off. So you just resort to making the minimum payment or a little bit above the minimum payment, and you never really see the end of that debt tunnel. And the problem with this scenario is that the debt seems to creep up on you a little bit over time. It's not necessarily that one big purchase that gets you in a lot of debt. It's those little $30, $40, maybe $50 purchases that happen over and over and over again until you're facing a $4,000 to $5,000 credit card bill, or even a $10,000 credit card bill that you have to crawl your way out of, that seriously inhibit your growth in your 20s as far as how much you can invest and how much you can save and set yourself up for the future. So one of the best purchases that you can make is actually paying down the principal balance on your debt. And I think that this should be one of the first things to focus on right after starting an emergency fund for yourself, because credit card interest rates are almost always insane insanely high, upwards of 20 to 25%, even 30 to 35% at times. And there is not one investment decision that you can make that you can consistently get a 25% return on unless you're gambling or speculating in the cryptocurrency market. So paying down your debt principal balance will save you so much on interest in the long run that this is probably one of the best purchases that you can make, even though this is more of an intangible purchase. But let's end this video off with the 6 best purchases you can make in your 20s. And this one is probably a little bit more boring out of all of them, and it's actually getting insurance for yourself. Now I know insurance is boring. You don't really need it until you need it. However, as a self-employed person, or even a person who may not be under their parents' coverage anymore, seriously considering life insurance can save you a lot of money in a long run. Take me for example. I'm a person who likes to be very active in terms of playing basketball, running, lifting weights, doing different things that I could potentially get injured at, where I would need to go to the emergency room if something bad does happen. And once I stopped working for a big corporation, I lost the benefit of having health insurance built into my payment, which would cause a seriously expensive hospital bill if I had to go for one reason or another. So exploring different health insurance options in your 20s, whether it's through your employer or through an individual plan, will be seriously important in your 20s, because if you do get sick, whether you get the virus that everyone's getting now or something else unfortunate happens to you, you will have the peace of mind of being covered and knowing that you won't have a lot of money coming out of pocket to worry about. Yes, you will be paying some out of pocket every month in the terms of an insurance premium, but I think that is a little price to pay in return of knowing that you're covered for a big accident. Also, if you have a family like I do, or if you plan to start one soon, looking at life insurance can be a good thing as well, as you can get some pretty good term life insurance policies, upwards of $500,000, paying less than $20 a month. And with all that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to use the public link in the description below if you want to support the channel, and I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.